Are we having a party here? I don't know.
Welcome to Polishing Profits. Join our 3 industry experts boasting 140 years of experience as they unlock building service contracting secrets that can revolutionize your business.
Welcome to Polishing Profits. This is Mark Anderson, and this is our Polishing Profits Plus edition. I have Edwin Eaton with me from iPro in the booming metropolis of Wenatchee. Most of them don't know where it is, nor could they pronounce it if they saw it written. Edwin, good to have you here today. Let's get rolling. I'm going to do a 5-minute must-know about iPro.
My name is Edwin. I'm the owner of iPro Building Services. I've been in the industry for just about 20 years. Everybody has their own story about how they get into the commercial cleaning industry, because I don't think anybody just falls into this industry or wants to be in this industry. The story behind that is in college, I was going to the University of Washington, go Dogs. My college roommate, his uncle owned a commercial cleaning company in your area, in the Seattle area, up and down the I-5 corridor. We just happened to be where our apartment was in college. He had a couple cleaners that had quit and needed somebody to hold down the fort. So he asked us. We had no cleaning experience. He said, it's pretty simple. You just go in, I'll give you the alarm code for the banks and keys and just take out the trash. So that's what we did. He's like, I'll pay you with beer money. So he was speaking our language. We held down the fort for about a month until he found some new cleaners. And then we parted ways. But he said, eventually, you're going to come back into this industry. A few years later, I got the call from him, and it happened to be the right time. We partnered up and started working with his business and got to learn the ins and outs, what not to do and what to do. He was a great teacher, and we eventually started butting heads. I wanted to expand. He didn't really want to. And in 2013, iPro was born. And so we've been off and running ever since.
So if somebody Googles that, what's your geography? What areas do you cover? What states? I know you're regional. Give us a little picture about the size of your company, where you are, what you're doing, how many people you have.
When we started in 2013, it was just myself. My wife left her well-paying job to do the back end of stuff, all the paperwork and everything else that was necessary. I could get out and sell and grow it. So in the beginning, it was just us. And, fast forward to where we're at now, July was 11 years. We're a little over 125 employees, plus a ton of subcontractors. We cover the Pacific Northwest. So Washington, all of Oregon, Idaho. We do parts of Montana, some parts of California, into Nevada. So we're in different places. And so, you mentioned Wenatchee. Again, not many people can mention it. It's about 50,000 people. There's only so much that you can do in this industry in a small city. And so part of growing and scaling your business is expanding to bigger markets. You're in the Seattle area, so there's a ton of opportunity there. I've never been one to say no. If a client asks me if I can take on a project in a different city, I'll always say yes, and I'll figure out a way to get it done. Okay. And that's really how we've scaled and grown this business from just myself to over 125 employees.
That's quite a good growth rate over a large geography for that short a time. So you must be doing a couple of things right.
I think we're doing a few things. And if we're not, we're learning from it.
And you're learning. Speaking of a few things right, I'm looking over your right shoulder and I see a couple of little discs there that say Inc. 5000. I know that's a big deal, but why don't you explain real quickly to the audience? That's quite an honor to have that for your company. Why don't you tell the folks listening what it is and what it means for you?
Yeah, absolutely. Getting into business, I never thought about the awards and things you could accomplish. It was just, let's grow a business, make some money, and create jobs for people. But along the way, there's these certain awards. And this one, the Inc. 5000, is we were able to make it last year as one of the 5,000 fastest growing private companies in America. When we received that honor, it was an amazing feeling. I must be doing something right. It helped propel our business. And it was huge for us because it's a huge recognition piece. And like you said, there's some people that are in the industry, but all the big name businesses understand what that is. When you think of Forbes, Inc. is right along that same name. It's just a big name in the industry. This year, we found out we made it for 2 years in a row. To make it 1 year is difficult to get on that list, but to make it 2 years, it's tough. And when we went to they throw a big awards ceremony. Last year was in San Antonio. I got to rub elbows with millionaires and billionaires. And it was just an amazing experience. They did live interviews with you. They filmed commercials with you. It's nonstop. It's just an amazing event. I made a lot of contacts in there that helped me grow my business, but help grow myself personally and professionally. But then to get this again, It's like, wow, okay. But to be able to get it again, you basically almost have to double your business to continue to grow to make this list. To be able to do that again was just an amazing feeling. When I received that nomination, it just blew me away. It's a testament to the crew that I have, the management crew, and everybody that has come into place. And if you have all the right people in place, good things can happen. Finally, after 11 years, we've got all the right people helping propel us to the next level. For us, it's huge.
So the big question on my mind, will 2025 see the hat trick?
I hope so. I told my staff, Jordan's got 6 rings, LeBron's got 4. Let's get 3 of these Inc. 5000 awards. That would be cool. We can pull off the trifecta. With the growth to be able to make the list, it's amazing all the businesses that made this Inc. 5000 list. It's 5,000 businesses, but you're talking revenue growth to make the list as number 5,000. I think they were at 110% year over year growth.
Mm-hmm.
So to get on that list is tough. We're going to have to be over 110%, to make it into 2025. Luckily, I think we're looking good. My fingers are crossed and hope we can do it. But even if we don't, we're still growing. I at least have 2 of these that I can put up there to brag about.
So you mentioned you didn't do it by yourself, your people, your team. I know you're a big culture guy. You work hard on your culture. Having consulted for 10 years, it's interesting when you see the other side. You see a lot of people talk about culture. When you get in, you realize that the understanding and implementation of that culture stops at management. How do you keep your culture in front of everybody, keep everybody motivated, and basically singing off the same sheet of music? So what is your culture briefly, and how do you keep that rolling? Because you got to be doing something to as many states as you're in and winning awards that it's working. Tell us about it.
Company culture, to me, it was like a buzzword, and I didn't really fully grasp what company culture was. I mean, you see a lot of people post about it on social media, and, I think with the help with ChatGPT and everything, you can just figure out whatever kind of post you want to do about company culture. ChatGPT is going to tell you what to do. I like to quote a lot of great philosophers. One of them is Tupac. He said, "Don't talk about it, be about it." That's the motto I live by. If I'm going to talk about company culture and how I celebrate people, I'm not just going to talk about it, I'm going to show you. And that's really what we do. And so, we do it on social. So that really in the beginning, it wasn't so that you could see it, Mark. It was because I wanted my employees to see themselves out there that, hey, iPro really values you, and we're going to show the world who you are. That's how important you are to us. You mean everything to this business. And we want to make sure that we recognize you and everybody understands that you're being recognized for a job well done. Back in my early 20s working in the hotel industry, I got fast-tracked into a management position. At one of the manager meetings, I received a Manager of the Quarter award. And it just blew me away because I wasn't expecting anything. And I got this award. I got a gift card. And it was the greatest feeling because all the work that I did, I actually got appreciated for. So that feeling was great. I always go back to that moment because I remember how I felt when I received that and the applause and the congratulations from everybody. I stepped up my game at that point because I wanted to get that award again, right? Eventually it clicked and I thought in my head, how can I make my employees feel like this? They're cleaning toilets, they're taking out trash. It's not a fun job, but how can we make it fun for them so that they're appreciated and they'll continue to do this job over and over again? Originally, my thought was, let's do Employee of the Month. I see it on social media. Everybody's doing Employee of the Month. So we did that. It was okay in the beginning. It was a feel-good deal. But after about the 4th or 5th one, everybody that got the Employee of the Month award started to quit. And I couldn't figure out what was going on. These people were rock stars, and I got no heads up. They just quit. By the time it was the 4th one or 5th one, they were getting ready to quit. I asked them to come in the office, sat down and talked to them. And they said, well, Edwin, this is the reason why everybody else quit. There's resentment from the staff. I said, what do you mean resentment? Well, this person thought they should have got the Employee of the Month award. So now they resent me because I was the one that got the award. It's like you're putting me on a pedestal, but other people should have got it. It should be a team award, not an individual award. And I said, okay, you know what? I'm scrapping this. You need to stay on board. I'm scrapping this Employee of the Month award. I'm going to go back in the lab and think what's going to work. Then I thought, well, maybe we can celebrate birthdays. But then it's like, okay, there's some religions out there, they don't celebrate birthdays. So I don't want to have resentment again from that portion of the staff. So it's like, what could we do to recognize them and appreciate them where nobody's going to get mad? And so it was like anniversaries. Let's try it. Nobody can get mad at somebody for putting in their time at work. And if you put in your time, you're going to get recognized for what you do. So we started to do that, just little things similar to Employee of the Month. Here's a plaque, here's a gift card. And then we were posting it on social media. It was catching traction, not so much with followers, but with the other employees. And they said, hey, next month is my Employee of the Month. This is my 1 year. Am I going to get recognized for it? I said, absolutely, you are. And so it started to spiral from that. All of a sudden, there's different tiers for every year that you work with us. You're going to get maybe an Apple Watch, maybe an iPad, maybe a week vacation. We're waiting on our 10-year. We just did our first 9-year anniversary, but at 10-year, I'm going to take over your shift for a week and I'm going to pay you. So here we go. I will work your job for a week so you can have a week off and I'm going to pay you. And so there's already people that, the one that just got her 9-year and one that got her 7-year, they're all excited about that because they want me to work their shift for them.
Are they going to take your shift and handle any cleaning complaints you have during that week?
It started to take off, and then we started doing all the posting as we used to do, and it started catching traction on social media, and people started reaching out to us. The staff started understanding. I had a manager. She knew every year when her anniversary was. So it was harder to surprise her. Some employees wanted to get involved with it. Now, we have videos on social media where we'll set up an employee and I'll have a supervisor tell him, hey, Edwin needs to talk to you in his office at 4:00, on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. And it's like, what did I do? They think they're in trouble for something. We'll have the staff come in about 3:30, 3:45. We'll have food, drinks, everything. We'll all hide in one section of the office. The supervisor will bring them into the office and we'll do a big celebration. We'll yell surprise and congratulations to them. This is where company culture comes into play. I don't even have to say anything. The staff just knows that if there's anniversaries coming up, they all want to partake in some type of celebration for them. And so everybody's applauding these employees. Even if it's 1 year, they're getting the same applause as somebody that just had their 9-year anniversary or their 5-year anniversary. And it's built this thing. Everybody was in the office and everybody speaks different languages. They were waiting for a celebration, chatting with each other where they wouldn't before because they don't really see each other that much. It's put together this camaraderie within the team. It's taken on itself and it's formed itself into this culture that I didn't see happening. And now it's kind of a standard to celebrate everybody for their anniversaries. Yeah. I mean, I'm behind now. I've been busy. I told you my son just got married. There's about 15 of them that I need to get going and that we're going to do some big celebrations.
A shout out to Edwin. Follow him on LinkedIn. I follow him on LinkedIn.
We post everything on there.
Your staff says some of the most complimentary, unsolicited things I've read. I read some of the stories behind your little Instagram. It sounds like it's extremely well received and does exactly what you intended to retain people, make them feel good. We don't get a lot of feel good stuff in our industry.
Right. With the last couple of them that we did, they said, hey, you're taking video all the time. Can you interview me? I want to tell everybody what working at iPro is all about. I said, really? They're like, yeah. I said, okay, if you want to sit down, I'll record you. This isn't scripted or anything. They sincerely tell the camera what they think and feel about iPro. And so that kind of put me back a little bit. I was like, wow, some of the things they're saying about what we've created here is just huge. We have those 2 awards, but we wouldn't have those if it wasn't for all the people that we have. I'm just glad that everybody's working cohesively and gets along. Even if you're brand new, you're part of this culture right away.
So you really feel this has been a huge contributor to retention of your people and to building your company?
Our turnover is very low.
Do you share numbers on your turnover?
For Wenatchee itself, we have about 52 employees here. Over the course of this year, we've probably had 5 people leave, and out of the 5, 3 are relocating. So we're doing something right. It takes a whole army to put this together to keep the team in place.
I know what it takes to do these things, not as much as other people in the big time, but all the stuff you post, how often you post, the Instagram framework, the stories, that all takes time to achieve and put together.
With all the LinkedIn posts and everything we do, you don't see a lot of our before and after pictures of floor care jobs that we do. Here's a before and after of a strip and wax. Here's a before and after of a toilet that was dirty that we just cleaned. I don't believe in that kind of stuff.
I don't either. Yeah. Nobody cares. It doesn't help your people, and it doesn't tell anyone looking at your company how you're going to do it better and different and take care of your folks.
Exactly.
Than your other competitors. I'm leading you into a question. So I know this has worked unplanned on you securing very good jobs. Can you give a little backstory about some things that have come out of your consistency, the way you've done this, and how you've gotten some very key people and companies to call you and look at you because of these posts? So I want to share the marketing side of that for a minute.
Back to you're not posting a before and after. You're telling a story. LinkedIn is building your brand. If it's your own personal, you're building your own brand, not your business, but your own brand. And then your business, that's building that brand. Data centers. I have a 64 cluster data center about 4 hours away from here. I have a data center cluster 30 minutes from here that I haven't been able to get my hands on for the last 8 years. And I'm on LinkedIn. You can link in with contacts that you'll have trouble calling and trying to get a hold of a facilities manager, but you can link up with them on LinkedIn. You can see when people view your page. You can see when they like your posts. And I've had a contact in this area at a data center who started to consistently like the postings that I was doing for the anniversaries and how we celebrate our employees. He reached out to me, sent me an email and said, Edwin, I love the fact that you take care of your employees. I love the fact that you celebrate your employees. I know you've been trying to get our business for a very long time. I'm unhappy right now with my current cleaning company, but I'm not unhappy with the cleaners. It's the cleaning company that I'm unhappy with. I love the cleaners like they're my family, but the company doesn't take care of them and they're off in another state. I need you to come in and take a look at this and tell me what you can do. Wow. And that was off of LinkedIn, right? So I'm there the next day. We got our set meeting to do a walkthrough. And we sit down at the table. He's telling another person in the walkthrough about what we're about, company culture, everything. He hands me the current contract with the pricing and the scope of work of what he's currently getting charged by the cleaning company. And I said, what is this? He goes, I understand that you're probably going to be a little bit more expensive because I know you take care of your employees, and that's what I want. And the caveat on this is that I want you to retain the employees that are here. I said, is that okay? Am I able to do that? He goes, it doesn't matter. They're staying with us, and that's what's going to happen, and they're going to work for you. He basically handed me the keys to the Porsche and said, let's go. My price did come in a little bit higher, and they were okay with that, signed the contract. We retained the new employees. They had never had uniforms. We got them shirts with iPro on there. We invited them for their onboarding process here to our office, 30 minutes away. We had food for them. We did a whole cool onboarding process for them. They felt like family. Then they started, and they're killing it out there. There's not much training we had to do. We just had to show them our way. It was a grand slam. But the best part is the data center across the street was a completely different data center. The contact I had been trying to get in touch with for 8 years, he went and told the other company across the street, hey, this is what iPro is all about. This is how they treat their employees. He said, I'm dealing with the same thing. I don't like the company, but I like my employees. Give me Edwin's contact. He contacted me. A week later, we met, and 2 weeks later, we started the account. We got 2 data centers, and we're not talking little money. We're talking about a good chunk of change for these data centers, all based on the company culture we created, posted on social media for our employees to see that contacts we've been trying to get in touch with saw and appreciated.
But because you were linked up with them on LinkedIn, they got what you posted. An unintended consequence was you were selling when you were celebrating your employees and your culture.
That's why I tell a lot of commercial cleaning businesses, it's about your story and your team. And I don't do a whole lot of postings of myself. It's all of my employees, things that they're doing. And that catches the attention of people because our retention is good, but nationwide, retention is pretty bad. And it's tough to find a good, trustworthy workforce. When people see that, hey, iPro, they're taking care of their employees, low turnover, they celebrate them. They want to be in business with you. It gives them that extra security to know that iPro is going to take care of us. They're going to have the same employees and our facilities are going to be looking good and be clean.
For the audience listening, when he's talking data centers, I've been in these things, and they can be anywhere to 200,000 square feet to 500,000 up.
And 7 days a week, 24 hours a day.
They never stop because they're always running. Everything that you think is in the cloud is in Edwin's high desert.
Yeah.
And other parts of the United States. So yeah, that's amazing. It comes back to if you take care of your people, good things happen. My compliment to you is you're walking the talk. You said it a little differently with two-pack there, but nonetheless, you're walking the talk. And I just finished a podcast earlier today for another Polishing Profits with Ed and Sharon. We're talking about leadership and being transparent in the culture. You just can't talk about it because pretty soon you're shown up as, I hate to use the word disingenuous. I kind of like the word fraudulent. You talk about it, but it doesn't really exist. So why do it? I think you just gave us probably 2 to 3 million worth of square foot secured work and 52 people. You've only lost 5 reasons.
Here's the other thing too, because of the data centers, what I learned is in their break rooms, they are just phenomenal break rooms, video games,
Yep.
basketball hoops, electric scooters, get around all these places. They got some cool stuff. So I kind of said, hey, man, that would be cool to put in my office. So I put video games in my office. I put a basketball hoop. I put a beverage fridge. We have got snacks out for all the employees when they come in. But it's not just there to be cool, right? Cool. It's how you go about using it to make sure that your employees are happy. I use it as a talking point. I don't speak Spanish. Most of my employees do. But if I hop on the Pac-Man machine and I'm playing Pac-Man and somebody comes in, I say, hey, can you beat my score? I'll just make a conversation. I know Jose comes in. He wants a Monster and a bag of Doritos. I'll get that ready for him and banter back and forth. I posted a video not too long ago. They bring in their dirty rags from the night before. I said, if you can throw it and get it into the dirty laundry basket, I'll do 10 push-ups. I said, but if you miss, you got to do 10 push-ups. He threw it, made it. I had to do 10 push-ups. The whole staff was there yelling at me, telling me I'm doing my push-ups wrong. But you know what? They were doing it as a team. You can have all these cool, shiny toys and everything. If you don't utilize it for what it's worth, it's about building the trust and building with your employees and having the conversations with them. Then these things just become another tool to help you with your retention, right?
Well, what I hear, if you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what I'm hearing you saying that it's not the tools, it's how you use them, getting people involved, and that shows your care. You can have all the break rooms and machines in the world, and we get a lot of high-tech stuff, as you know, Microsoft and Intel, and that comes all out of the high-tech world. They just do those sort of things because people work 60, 70-hour weeks, programmers and stuff, and it all came out of another way to recognize we care. And we know you're giving up some stuff, so we're going to give you something back.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think you're doing an excellent job with that. And the fact that you're still involved as the owner at the size you are speaks that you walk the talk and really do believe. And I think that's the key to making culture work.
Well, a handshake goes a long ways, and even just minimal conversation just to let them know that even if I am the owner, I'm still going to come out and have a conversation with you.
We're in an industry that doesn't get a lot of kudos, and it's not exactly the most glamorous job. For your cleaning tech, they're on the bottom of the food chain. They're out there every night by themselves doing the work with the supervisors. And I was a big, I still am, the 1 Minute Manager, if you've ever read that. I recommend it to my clients when they're teaching supervisors. It's a simple concept. Catch somebody doing something right and tell them. And
exactly.
Thank you goes a long way, or I appreciate you fixed your vacuuming. Whatever it is, it takes a little bit of your time to recognize an improvement and cost zero. And that starts building trust and relationships when you start talking to the individual and recognizing accomplishments. Did we cover what you wanted to cover in marketing? Because that's where we were blending the marketing and the talk.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, yeah.
We're going to start the second segment here on Blueprint Janitorial Consulting, which is one of Edwin's other inventors. I'm not sure. Are you a serial entrepreneur or just a guy that likes to make things happen?
I don't know.
You don't box you in, right? Here we go. 3, 2, 1. We're starting. So, Edwin, you're a man of many talents. You clean buildings, you secure things, you're in a bunch of states, you have 120 people running. Lord knows how many subs you have in all those states, but I'm sure there's a few. I'm really curious and keen about hearing some of your side ventures. And I know some of them have come out of solving your own problems.
Exactly.
So you've solved your problems and figure, can I help somebody else solve these problems? So the first problem you solved was how to help people get into business, new startups, and you call it Blueprint Janitorial Consulting. Explain to everybody listening what it is, what it does, and what value it is to the people you're working with.
You know, when I started, I was working with my college roommate's uncle. So I learned a lot, good and bad. When I decided to break off and go on my own, I didn't have that lifeline. I didn't have that support. I failed a lot in the beginning because I just had no clue what to do. I realized that my roommate's uncle held all the keys to everything. So I had to get out there and learn on my own. YouTube wasn't too big back in the day as much as it is now, which is great for people to use. Your counterpart, Ed, at Selco.
Yeah.
I found him on Google, and it was probably the best investment I had because he put me in the right direction. He pointed me in that right direction. And very thankful for what he did. The thing with me now is there's a ton of competition out there. There's a ton of commercial cleaning companies coming into the business almost daily. I mean, you read the Business Journal and here's all the new businesses that are coming in, and there's always 5 or 6 commercial cleaning companies.
It's a low barrier to entry, let's face it. I can go to Home Depot Pro or Costco and put myself in business if somebody will give me an account.
Exactly. Yep. And, a lot of people get into it. They were great cleaners and felt because they were a great cleaner that they could have a great commercial cleaning company. But then they forget there's other parts to the business. There's payroll, there's taxes, there's all the financials you got to take care of. There's hiring, firing, and people forget that side of the business. The people that get missed are the brand new businesses up to 5 years in business. They kind of get lost. Hearing from people, there wasn't a lot of people that were willing to work with them per se. I had a couple people reach out to me after, following me on social media and said, hey, I'd love to do a one-on-one with you. Would you be available to do it? And then it spiraled off to a few more. And then it was eating up a lot of my time. My wife's like, what are you doing? If you're going to do this, you at least have to make your time is valuable. You're taking it away from iPro. You at least need to charge somebody, get a calendar put up and start organizing this stuff. And I said, you know what? You're probably right. And she got mad because I was creating another business and she had to do all the paperwork for it. We started it. That's how Blueprint Janitorial got started. Now I'm mentoring almost every state. Their new businesses up to 5 years and under $3 million in revenue. It's a sweet spot for me because they're still getting the wheels rolling. They've run into the same issues I ran into in the beginning before I met Ed, who set me in the right direction. The biggest thing that I'm hearing from a lot of these businesses, they don't know how to bid. They don't know how to go after their first new client. They don't know how to do any cold calls, emailing, or in person. So we're walking them through how to do that. I don't have any set agendas. What do you want to know? What do you want to learn? It usually evolves into something else. I usually don't stick to my hour time frame. I'll go way over because I'm passionate about it. We'll just go off on a tangent because I want to help them succeed and grow. That's really what Blueprint is about. I want to give back and help people in the position I was in and help them get to where I'm at now, or at least put them in that direction.
I have none to 3 million. What would be the average size company you're working with? Up to 3 million, you have a whole different set of issues and challenges than when you're opening your doors. And everything in between, there's plateaus of growth, right?
Yep.
I always go, you get the first million, next trip is 3 to 5, and work through. So
yeah, you get to $1 million, you're going to have to redo your business to get to that next million. I have clients that have 75 employees. I have clients that it's a sole proprietor, they're owner operator, and then everything in between. And so it's helped me take a look at it too, because I hear some horror stories or issues they're having. It's like, oh, something clicks in my head. I just dealt with that issue last week, so it's fresh in my mind. This is how you're going to solve that. And then what we've done as well is we've created through our site as well. It's called Blueprint Connect for the cup of coffee for $4.99 a month. We have access to calculators, downloadable content. And this is all stuff that I use within my business, a form to how to do a walkthrough. This is all the information that I get when I do them. Here's the pricing on how you should bid on how to strip and wax a floor or how to clean the carpets. Here's supervisor training 101. This is how I train my supervisors. Here's my ebook that I created from when I started. Here's a cold call email template. We try to arm them with everything they need within this downloadable content. We've also created a map. Everybody that's part of Blueprint Connect or has been a client of mine, they're able to enter in their information to a map of the U.S., click their state, enter their information. And we have national contractors that come to our map. And if somebody's looking for a cleaner, they need a subcontractor in California, they'll click on California, and there's a handful of people that are part of our group that are in there that they can contact and subcontract work to. So we've opened that up to them as well. We have quite a few of my clients getting business from national companies reaching out to them because of that.
Now, how many people are in your Connect group? You said you have a client in every state, so we'll say you have 50 clients active. How many are in your Connect group?
The exact number, I don't know offhand, but it's over 100 that we have in the group.
Okay, so double the size. So it's growing, so there's plenty of connection.
It is. I really don't promote it. It's just out there, but it's been around a lot. I always ask people how they found me, and they said, it's Google. We Googled and we saw you. We talked about the Inc. 5000. I put that on there. I started in college. I broke away. I started my own business, and I grew it into an Inc. 5000 company. This thing is like street cred. Because they see that and they're like, well, we talked to a couple other consultants, but they didn't seem to have the type of experience that you had. I said, the difference with me is I've been in there. My hands have gotten dirty. I've had to do the dirty work to get to where I'm at. And that's just kind of how it spirals.
Back to that Inc. 5000, these are all entrepreneurial businesses. These aren't the Forbes 100, or 500.
Yeah, these are all private. They're privately owned
businesses by entrepreneurs, founders, and that's a big deal. You think of how many there are in the United States. What is it? 60% of all business is small business in the U.S. So you think about all that, and they only picked 5,000 of them.
It's a great feeling.
So getting back to the blueprint consulting, you mentioned you have bid calculators and forms. Is that part of that system that you have that they have access to?
It is. So there's calculators to bid on janitorial work, nightly, weekly, monthly. We have a calculator for floor care services and for final construction cleaning, post-construction cleaning. And then there's templates in there for proposals and things like that. Because I remember in the beginning, before I knew there was software, I had to figure out ways to do things. When I was bidding, it was notepads filled with equations, getting frustrated. And I didn't know how to put together proposals. I was creating a Word document for a proposal and trying to put that together. The other piece is I tried to make it affordable because I remember what it was like in the beginning. Every dollar counts, and you got to keep as much of that cash in your pocket to buy equipment if you get a new account. I want to make it affordable. My wife always tells me the prices are too cheap. And I said, yeah, it is what it is. I want to be able to get this service out to somebody that may not have hundreds of dollars that they can spend a month. They can afford this to help grow their business.
So basically, for a Starbucks coffee, they can have access to all this help and use it as they see fit, right?
Absolutely. Yep. And it's all there. It's documents that I've used. So if you don't have an employee handbook, I've got a template for an employee handbook. You don't have anything for HAZCOM, I've got that set. I had somebody come to me that said, hey, we just got a new manufacturing plant and they're talking about HAZCOM. I don't know what that is. I said, oh, let's go into this. We looked at it. I said, it's right here. All you have to do is plug in your business information, maybe change a couple of the cleaning products that you're using, and you're all set. This is a lifesaver. I probably would have gotten this account because I would have known what to do. It would have taken too long.
Maybe your wife's right. I don't want to get in a pricing conversation.
All the time that I put in to put this stuff together, I mean, she's right. I know how stressful it can be. I just think making it affordable for people that are just getting into the business. I'm pretty passionate and I love this industry. So whatever I can do to help out, that's what I want to see.
Speaking of software, Cinch, you mentioned software. You were worried about finding software. We were still doing it with paper and pencil when I started my business. And you couldn't find any information. We had to spend a lot of money and a lot of time to figure all this out because all the seminars you had to fly to. And they were all to learn how to bid, a bidding seminar by Ian Gregg, and he's done now, but it was $1,200, and that didn't count your airfare and food. So it's basically trying to take down a tree with a handsaw, a very small one.
And now it's readily available.
You had a great story, and if you don't want to tell it, that's fine, but you have somebody that you actually put into business that's doing gangbusters, has quite a bit of business, and is growing rapidly. I'm trying to do this so I don't give anything away because I can't remember the whole story. But they were part of this whole blueprint consulting. Can you share some of that? I mean, what happened, where they're going, and how fast they've moved? That's what was impressive. And they've moved there in a quality manner. They're not just getting business and losing it. It's not a revolving door. They're getting it and keeping it and growing.
They are. It's down in the Florida area. He reached out to me a couple of years ago and he's just like, hey, I saw. So I'm putting myself out there because my kids watch TikTok a lot. They're like, Dad, you should make a TikTok account, for Blueprint. And so I made a TikTok account. I posted some videos. They're not great, but I try to get a message across. This particular person in his business, they saw me on TikTok and they reached out to me and asked for some assistance. They said, hey, we're just starting. We talked about it and he was way over his head. I had to walk him through the whole process. He didn't have enough employees. So we had to go through bidding, put together the proposals, all the glass cleaning waiver, agreements, all kinds of stuff for him. He had a couple of one-time-a-week accounts. This was going to be the largest account that he's ever had. To this day, it still might be one of the largest single invoices he's ever sent out. But it was a little over 90,000. It might have been around $95,000. We helped him. We worked on it for about 2 weeks. I didn't charge him a penny. This was kind of in the beginning. And I thought this is a great opportunity to be a great story, a great reference for me if I could really help him do this. We put in a lot of hours on this. He submitted the bid. He called me back about 3 weeks later and said it got approved. He got a little over $90,000. He was ecstatic. I was like, wow, okay, I think I can really push this to help people. He's been a client ever since, continued to grow. Questions still come up. He'll call me, hey, I'm at the 25 employee mark. What do I need to do at this point? I want to grow and get another 25 employees. What do I need to do? Hey, I just got this type of account in manufacturing. I love this. How can I go after more of those? This evolved from getting one account, which just happened to be a very huge account. Every step of the way, I've been assisting him when he needs it. And 9 times out of 10 now, he knows the answer, but he's just calling for confirmation that he's doing it the right way. His business is taking off big time.
Because he started with basically nothing and had that one break.
Yep.
You were able to help him with and get his foundation built.
That $90,000 final construction cleaning job, he actually picked up the regular janitorial for that account as well. They were so impressed with what he did. I helped him with that as well and secure that account. That really put him on the map right there.
That's a big job for somebody that was dealing with one time a week accounts.
The amount of labor and workforce you're going to need for a job that size.
Yeah. Anything else you want to tell us on the Blueprint Consulting? What's been your toughest customer and why? The customer you could never quite connect with and get them on the train moving in the right direction.
Well, I think in the end, they all eventually do see the light at the end of the tunnel. I've had a customer, and it was one of those that's a know-it-all. I don't claim to be a know-it-all because I don't know everything. I'm still learning. But it seemed like everything I had to tell him, he already knew, and he knew a better way to do it. But he had just gotten started in the business and didn't have any accounts and was struggling. So I was helping him with that process. He goes, this is what I would do. And it was a constant banging my head on a wall with this guy. I told my wife, I don't think I got through to that guy. I don't think I helped him at all. And then all of a sudden I get a notification on my phone. He booked another one-on-one session with me. And we talk again. And it was just the same thing. I was banging my head on the wall. And by the 4th time he booked a session with me, it just clicked. He's still with me to this day. We banter back and forth, but he's listening now and understands it. Once he fully listened and put into effect everything I was trying to teach him, it worked. He just had this barrier up that he knew everything at the time. It blew my mind that I felt like I wasn't getting through to him, but he kept booking another one-on-one session, another one-on-one session. I would say that was the toughest because I did not know where that one was going. I can usually have control and people are listening because they're obviously paying me a fee. They're going to listen to what information I'm going to tell them. This guy was doing more talking than I was.
Well, his actions were so contradictory to what you thought he wanted. I mean, he'd hang up and be done and he'd come back and book another appointment. I'd wonder why too.
Yeah.
Are you going to send me an invoice? I don't know.
Exactly. But it's been great for me. It's a feel good helping out small businesses get started. The way I look at it is it's not just that they were a client of mine. A lot of them have turned into friends. Ricky's event was sold out. He wanted in. I touched base with Ricky. Ricky got him in. It's the first time I met him. He's like, dude, thank you so much for getting me into this. And we're good friends now. We're back and forth sending text messages to each other. A lot of people I've been able to become friends with through this platform.
So to wrap up the Blueprint Consulting and the bidding calculators for janitorial, we covered that kind of mixed in here. What do you see as the future for Blueprint Consulting? Because you're a busy guy. You're running a large company. You're doubling by, I'm looking back at your disc behind your head. You're hitting that every year. What is your vision for Blueprint Janitorial Consulting in the next 3 to 5 years? It sounds like it's growing. You're getting traction. What's your vision?
It is growing. It is getting traction, but I look at it almost like a hobby. When my grandpa retired, when my dad retired, their hobby was fishing. I don't fish. It's almost like a hobby to me. My wife says I can't stop. I keep going. I get bored from time to time. This is fun for me. As soon as I get that ding on my phone that I've got a one-on-one consultation or somebody signs up for Blueprint Connect, I get this feeling like, all right, here we go. Help these people out and let's figure out what their problem is. It's just problem solving. Enjoy it. 3 to 5 years from now, if it stays along the same pace that it's at, I'm completely content with that. But if people start calling like crazy, then another market that I think is neglected is the Spanish speaking. Okay. So it might be bringing on another consultant that I trust that speaks Spanish, that there's a whole nother market that we can start tapping into and helping that community kind of level the playing field, because I think they're getting neglected to some point as well.
What I'm hearing, I'm working on something called profit alchemy or revenue alchemy for the event that James and Angel are having at the end of the month. You've taken what you've made for yourself, alchemy to it. You've repurposed it into something else that's helping other people be successful. That wasn't its original intention, but
No.
you found a new life. And like alchemy, you took lead and now you're making more gold out of it. Not only are you moving forward, but you're helping 50 people plus another 50 in those groups be successful. And that is definitely a good definition of alchemy.
My employees wanted to brag about iPro and tell them why they're so happy working here. A lot of the Blueprint clients, they're like, hey, do you ever ask for reviews? I think that would be cool to be on your website. I mean, if you want to send me a video, I'll do the editing and put it up there. So I had a handful of people send me videos for reviews. I even sent a couple emails out just to say, hey, would appreciate it if you're up for giving me a review. And all of a sudden I'm flooded with all these videos. I try to rotate the videos through that are on the website right now. These are real clients, real business owners that started their business with me or had already started and then learned to grow with me, that they're telling what is working with me and working with Blueprint. So that's all on the website there, the reviews that they've left.
I assume you can find the website just by putting in Blueprint Janitorial Consulting.
It's just blueprintjanitorial.com and it takes you right there.
So now we're going to talk one more thing you're doing, which you're repurposing or basically creating more value out of existing value. So you're taking it from one value point to another, something you built for yourself. And you just seem to have a knack. Why not? What else can we do with this? Who can I help? Alchemy is about turning something at one value point into a higher, more profitable value point. You're in the consulting business, running your company. Now we're in the software business. So what's the alchemy? What's the growth? What's going on in Cinch Janitorial software and who's it for? This is our last segment.
Cinch Janitorial software was for iPro. That's what it was made for. I mean, there's a ton of software systems out there. They're all great. But I wanted something that was more specific to my business and how we were growing our business, what areas we were lacking and needed a different perspective on. I thought, let me see. I had some friends that were web developers, and so we chatted about it. And they helped me create the calculators to get into Blueprint. And that's how it started. So then we pushed the calculators over because we got busy and I got tired of the sales guys blowing up my phone on Saturdays and Sundays asking me to approve a price or look it over to make sure it's legit. I thought there's got to be a better way that I can create a calculator so that when they put in the price, that's the price that I've already approved. How can we make that work? And so that's where the calculator started. Let's do a floor care calculator and post-construction calculator. Then it's like people are complaining about this and that. I want this in a proposal. I want that in a proposal. Okay, let's take the best of both those worlds. Let's put it together. Let me create a proposal. Okay, done. We started Cinch Janitorial software about 2 years ago, and that's what it started with for my crew. But then the supervisors felt left out. They're like, hey, we want an inspection piece. We want a work order piece. And then it was like a light switch went off. I said, okay, why can't I put this all together into one? And so that's when we started putting it together and got that all put together. And then next thing you know, Cinch Janitorial software is created. The other piece was on the Blueprint side. People were looking at the calculators, looking at just this. It's a very generic proposal, but it helps brand new. They said, you have all this out here. Do you have a software system? At first, it didn't click with me, and more people started asking. I said, well, if I did have a software system, would it be something you'd be interested in? I went to my wife and I said, hey, I got this idea. She's like, another business. Luckily, I love her to death, and she supports me and knows how crazy I can get. So I can't fault her for questioning me when I want to start something. But she was actually on this one. She's 100% on board with this. And we just took off running with it, and we've been tweaking it. When I ended up finding a bunch of friends within the industry to beta test it for me to get it dialed in. Took all the advice from my supervisors, managers, even the cleaners, what they want to see in a mobile app. How's it going to make their life easier? Well, I want to see my schedule.
You're getting real-time end user input on all these different areas. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. And so we actually tested it. We started really testing it after we got the first Inc. 5000 award. And I said, let's put this together. We mentioned earlier, you get to the 1 million mark, you got to redo your business, restructure it to get to that next million. I thought, okay, let's structure this to help us get that second Inc. 5000 award. And that's what we did. We structured it to help us grow. It's every aspect from a CRM system. It's all the information that you're going to need. You need to drop a map of the facility into the notes section. You can drop a PDF in there, but it's going to have all the information you need. Then from that, you've got the bidding proposals, and everything is pre-generated. I deal with a lot of data centers. In the beginning, it was a lot of back and forth with a specific data center's legal team because they said, hey, we need this wording in here. We'd send it back and they'd send it back to me. I've taken everything from these big Fortune 500 companies that they wanted to see in a proposal, and I put that into the proposal. It's already generated. If you're a new customer coming in, there's nothing you really have to do except put in your name into your profile section, put in your company logo, enter a few things, and boom, you're off and running. Cinch is another word for simple. That's what I try to do, simplify the process. Inside Cinch, there's a button that's called Create a Bid. You hit that button, it's going to walk you through step by step on how to create a bid, from entering the prospect, from putting in how many days a week, how many hours a night, to what is the detailed scope of work. We have about 18 to 20 different types of facilities you can choose from with pre-generated general standard cleaning stuff for offices, for conference rooms. That's all pre-generated in there. You can add anything, you can delete it, whatever you need to do. My sales team loves it because before it was taking, 30 minutes to an hour to put together a proposal. Now that they already know, they can use calculators to quickly come up with the number. They don't need to hunt me down to get approval on that. They can get the numbers right away. Once they get everything input from start to finish, they can have a proposal with scope of work done and emailed off to the client in less than 10 minutes. For us, it's been great to keep the needle moving. And the more proposals you get out, the more opportunities you have to land as client and continue to grow and scale your business. So everybody knows what's going on to the mobile app. And then what we added, because I have a lot of new clients on the Blueprint side, they said, hey, we don't have an invoicing system. It's like, well, you need to get QuickBooks right now. But if you don't want to spend the money on QuickBooks yet, we've added invoicing into the system. It's just a holder to help you until you get that put into place. We thought of everything a business owner in the beginning might need, and not just the input from my staff and fellow colleagues in the industry, but from my clients on the Blueprint side, what they're asking for in a software system. And that's what we created and put out there.
It sounds fairly robust and at least somewhat simple to use. I like the fact that you have 18 different frameworks. Pick them, customize them. That makes the job a lot easier.
For pretty much any facility you can think of, we have on there. It's pretty cool. I had a customer down in San Diego. He called me. He's like, hey, just did a walkthrough at a manufacturing facility. I followed the calculator, everything. I'm in the create a bid. He goes, and now I'm in the manufacturing scope of work tab. And then it was just kind of silence. I'm like, okay, what can I help you with? I just want to tell you, this is awesome. He goes, I didn't have to change anything on the scope of work. Everything matched what I just did the walkthrough. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. I said, you didn't have to change anything. He's like, no. He goes, it was perfect. He goes, I just wanted to thank you because you just saved me a ton of time. It's like, that's awesome. Go take your wife out to dinner tonight or something and celebrate. So, but yeah, feedback too has been amazing. That would be great because at the end of the day, I created it for my business. So even if it doesn't work out out to the masses, it's going to work for my business. And that's what's helping us continue to grow. But feedback's been amazing. When I talk about those video testimonials, if you go to cleancinch.com, our website, you're going to see more video testimonials of people that have sent me video testimonials because they're happy about it. I go on TikTok and I see people posting using Cinch on TikTok, on social media. So it's a feel good to me. It's like, wow, I created something people are actually talking about. And we'll see what happens a year down the road, 2 years down the road.
How big's your subscriber base right now?
So right now we're in our second month and we're at like 43, actually 44. We just got another one before we hopped on the podcast.
Well, that's respectable growth.
That's what we try to do with this. You've got all the tools you need and everything is on the dashboard, which I call the Cinch rhythm. It's giving you the rhythm, the heartbeat of your business. You can see your inspections at a glance. When you like to sit on the beach in Cancun drinking a margarita, all you have to do is open up the mobile app and you can see what's going on in your business, finish that margarita, go swim and have a good time. You can see everything you need to see that's going on in your business right from that dashboard within Cinch. And we made it affordable at $89 a month is what it comes out to start. We have a code out. The code is save 50% with the percent sign. For the monthly subscription, and you put that in at checkout, that coupon code, you save 50% off the monthly subscription for the first 6 months. So your first 6 months end up being $44.50.
Basically, you get 12 months
You get a 10-day free trial to test it out. If it doesn't work for you, no harm, no foul. We just want you to give it a shot and see what it can do for you.
We'll use the alchemy analogy again, but this time you change gold into platinum. You keep reinventing and taking these things. And what was for one purpose and use, you found another way to reach into the community, not just to help and serve people, but to take the knowledge you have and turn it into something else usable that serves someone and at the same time creates a new value stream.
Absolutely.
That's how you grow our business. In your case, you've edged into consulting where you saw a need. You brought tools in, and now you've brought a whole software system to pull them together.
Well, in essence, you're almost doing the same thing, Mark. You've been doing consulting to help hundreds, if not businesses grow, and you continue to do it. But it's like, it's a feel good, and whatever I can do to help out people, that's what I'm in here for right now. The iPro side does so well that I have a little bit of time to dabble in this other stuff and share my experiences and everything that I've learned, failures, successes, everything with iPro. Here you go. This is what I'm doing. Blueprint. We're showing you everything I did. Here's all the manuals I put together to grow iPro. Cinch. Here you go. This is everything I do on a daily basis. This is everything my managers do, my supervisors, my whole business. This is what we do. Here you go. I put it out there, and whether or not people want it, that's up to them. And that's for them to choose whether it's going to work for them or not, because all businesses are different. But at the end of the day, for me, it's worked, and I'm happy with it.
It's amazing. That's when we were talking. We were trying to figure out what we'd talk about, and you start laying all this stuff. I keep looking at the awards. The culture is great, but now you've reached out, taken your success, and you're sharing it, making it affordable.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a feel good, but then you get up the next day and it's back at the grind. It's street cred, but I keep my foot on the pedal and just keep going. Those are going to come and go. No big deal.
It's a recognition, a third-party validation from a group of your entrepreneurial peers that said, you've done some amazing things in growing this company. Not just you, but your entire team.
When you were pointing back there, I thought maybe you were pointing at the Husky helmet.
Is that anybody's helmet in particular?
It's not. Just a helmet.
I thought maybe it'd say Sonny Six Killer or somebody.
No, I met him at the national championship game. Very cool guy. I didn't know that was actually his real last name.
Didn't you?
No, I didn't know that.
What would you like to finish up? I like to give the last word to the guests. What do you want the audience to take away that can help them with their business and gain value in their business today?
Back when I started, we didn't have podcasts like this. The three of you guys putting together your podcast, this is awesome. And if people aren't listening to it, they need to be listening to it. You guys have a wealth of knowledge, and listening to your podcast is helping these businesses. It's something that you guys have done. Like Ed helped me in the beginning. And so something because of that triggered me to want to help somebody else. And I think that's just the same thing. I've heard it from clients that I have. It's like, I want to be able to help somebody too. I literally talked to one of my clients today just to ask a couple questions about something because he's into power washing. And he was talking about how somebody reached out to him and was asking advice. And he's like, man, I got an adrenaline rush because you were helping me and the tables have turned and somebody called me for help. If somebody asks for help, just extend your hand and help them at any chance you get, because you never know what can happen. I mean, we just talked about it. iPro transformed into Blueprint, transformed into Cinch. It all had a purpose for the creation of it. Giving back is what I want to do. I want to see this industry succeed and continue to grow, because we're cleaning business owners and we don't get thought of at all, or very rarely. If we do, maybe it's a good thing, but usually it's a complaint about something, a paperclip behind a door or something mad about it. They're missing toilet paper. The perception of the industry, I want to see that change to where it's, hey, it's a cleaning company. We really need them in here and we're happy with their services. A good limelight on the cleaning industry.
Yeah. I know your time is valuable. I appreciate this. I've had a lot of fun getting to know about you, what you're doing. Thank you for coming on Polishing Profits Podcast Plus. I think Ed and Sharon want to talk with you too. I'm not sure about what. You'll have to stand the inquiry, but
to get ready for them.
You have to get ready. Thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate you and all you've done, particularly all you're doing for the industry to do. Thank you.